Hello everybody, and welcome to UC Tech Chat, where we discuss business technology, unified communications, and more for small and medium businesses. I am your host, Brian Ferguson.
And I'm your co-host, Jason Mefford. Thank you for joining us.
Today, Jason and I will be discussing disaster recovery and its impact on your business. Whether it's Mother Nature that causes the incident or a backhoe cutting a fiber line outside your office, it can cause major issues. We're going to talk about 8 key considerations for you when you develop your disaster recovery plan.
And of course, it wouldn't be UC Tech Chat without talking to Julie Webb, who answers another question from Julie's inbox.
Sounds great, Jason. Let's get started.
Disaster can strike your business at any time. Whether it's a flood, fire, earthquake, tornado, snow, or a cable-seeking backhoe, it can cause major damage and disruption in service. It can cause damage to your building, infrastructure, or your services. You have to be prepared.
As damaging as natural disasters can be, it's more often than not the non-natural disasters that cause the issues. Power outages and internet outages are the things that really cause the negative impact.
It's vital that companies be prepared. Here's a scary statistic. The Wall Street Journal reported in 2014 that weather-related events caused $50 billion in lost productivity and 76,000 lost jobs.
That is a scary statistic. And here's another one. The U.S. government said that of businesses that had major outages of 3 days or longer, 43% of those companies never opened their doors again. And another 28% were closed within 3 years.
Wow. As you can see, companies must prepare themselves, and Brian and I want to help.
That's right. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to give you 8 key considerations for you to think about when you're developing that disaster recovery plan.
First, you need to create a detailed disaster recovery plan. Think through all the aspects of your business. Who are the key responders within each department? Who are going to answer the phones in a disaster situation? What about tech support, customer service, shipping? The easiest thing to do is start with each department and think what the needs of those departments may be. You don't want to be the guy that forgets to put batteries in the flashlight. Plan and prepare for everything.
So next we have regular backups. So it's important to make sure that not only do you have a schedule that gets regular backups, that you test those backups and make sure that they work when the time is needed. What you don't want to happen is when you're in a disaster recovery situation, you go to recover something and it either doesn't work or it doesn't contain the most up-to-date and vital information that you need.
Another consideration is quick detection. A company needs tools in place to alert staff if there's an emergency. This includes outages and system malfunctions. Network and system monitoring software is readily available and fairly easy to install.
That's good. So the next one is really important. It's to consider off-site locations for your backups. You don't want to have them on your location because if there's a major natural disaster that completely wipes out your building, you're not going to be able to upload those on-site backups. So consider either an off-site data center or a cloud backup to ensure that you're going to be up and ready to go if there's a major issue.
Service redundancy is another consideration. It's very common to have outages on your service side. It may have nothing to do with your equipment, but it may impact your business because your services are down. Consider using multiple carriers. If you have one carrier from one service provider, get another circuit from another. It's also good to have different circuit types. If you have PRI as your main circuit, you may want to get a secondary SIP trunk, for example, a metered SIP trunk, which is going to be very low cost, but there in case of an emergency. Power redundancy is also another consideration. Uninterruptible power supply or a generator are great ideas to make sure that your equipment can be run if there's an outage related to power.
Yeah, it's very good. So next we have employee preparation. You want to make sure that your employees know the plan and that you practice it often. Run drills, make sure that if there is a major disaster that everything can run smoothly. There's no time to train when you're actually in the middle of a disaster recovery.
Speaking of employee preparation, a succession plan is important as well. You need to define a primary and secondary point of contact for each department or function. Employees should know who to contact within their departments if there's a disaster situation. New employees should also be trained in DR procedures.
All right, so let's wrap up with awareness. Your disaster recovery plan needs to be ingrained within the culture of your company. It needs to be implemented during the initial training process. People need to know where it's at. It needs to be on the tip of everybody's tongue so that in case anything were to happen, they know exactly where to go, and it's part of your everyday culture. All right, so that's a great job, Jason. So now let's turn things to my favorite segment with UC Tech Chat, to Julie Webb as she answers another question from Julie's inbox. Julie?
Thanks, Brian and Jason. And hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Julie's Inbox. Today's question comes from Emily A. from Rochester, Illinois. Emily's question is, what is a good backup for our company PBX? The key there is redundancy. Redundancy also means having a system restore. Deploy a rescue IP PBX utility for fast system recovery and keep losses at a minimum. These backup systems are a temporary solution and designed for worst-case scenarios until proper maintenance of the PBX is scheduled. A voice-over IP system maintains its health with proper redundancy. Cloud-based VoIP phone systems provide a business with extra security not found in traditional PBXs. Thanks for the question, Emily. That has me thinking. Guys, why don't you tell us about some movies where technology has gone horribly wrong?
Great question, Julie, and thank you. So Jason, what are your thoughts on technology gone horribly wrong?
How about Minority Report from Steven Spielberg? When tech and precog meet and come knocking at your door, my suggestion, run.
Yes, just run. And Minority Report, based on a short story by Philip K. Dick.
Minority Report.
Okay, how about Terry Gilliam's Brazil that takes tech and creates a completely dystopian future? We don't want our technology to steer us in the wrong direction. It'll turn you totally insane.
We're all in it together, kid.
That's probably Central Services calling about your AC. Don't answer. Okay, my next one is The Matrix, personally one of my favorite movies from the Wachowski brothers. Instead of being user-friendly with your technology, well, you basically just become a battery. Not good.
Not good at all. Whoa. And number 2 is Stanley Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey. We all know when your tech interacts a little too much and wants to kill you, it's over. Read my lips, it is over.
Although you took very thorough precautions in the pod against my hearing you, I could see your lips move.
And that's what happens in 2001. And what is our final movie on the list, Jason?
It has to be the daddy of all technology gone bad movies, The Terminator from James Cameron.
You know, technically, we are on Terminator time right now, and the Skynet system should be in the middle of the Earth takeover.
Are you saying it's from the future?
And we are actually only about a decade away from Skynet sending the Terminator back to the 80s. My, how time flies.
And time really does fly. And that wraps up 5 movies about how technology has gone horribly wrong. What are your favorite technology gone horribly wrong movies? Let us know at #UCTechChat. Well, that wraps it up for this week. Thank you for joining us, and see you next time on UC Tech Chat.